Are aliens among us? Via FelixMittermeier, Pixabay. Aliens are kinda the holy grail of scientific inquiry. And I say that only because there are few discoveries that would have the same kind of sudden and dramatic effect on the way we organize and operate society. I mean, once aliens are like an actual thing, it's a totally different ballgame. But what if we've already made contact? The evidence is scant, but there are some slightly less bullshit signs that aliens have tried to make contact before. First things first though, there's a reason that scientists all too often hold the mantra, "It's never aliens." We've had several false starts, one of the most famous being the LGM phenomenon. In 1967, a pair of astronomers at Cambridge University were excited to find a radio signal that repeated at regular intervals. At the time, the discoverers nicknamed the object LGM, standing for Little Green Men, as it was assumed that a natural source for a signal so regular would be vanishingly rare. But it turned out we just hadn't discovered pulsars yet. While the whole LGM thing didn't really pan out, there is still no widely accepted explanation for this so-called wow signal. It was only spotted once by Ohio State University's Big Ear radio telescope. Big Ear was pointed at the constellation Sagittarius and was actively searching for possible signals of extraterrestrial life. Even today it remains the strongest candidate for a possible transmission from an alien civilization yet. UFO does not mean alien spacecraft. Via Peter Lomas, Pixabay, and looking through the data, it's definitely a really bizarre find. It was observed over 72 seconds and shows a continuous increase and then subsequent decrease in signal strength, following a clean curve. Contrary to popular belief, there's no actual message there, but it is really weird. Natural sources aren't so clean, but an artificial source would also probably be repeated. Despite numerous attempts, though, it's never been observed since. Given the positioning of the telescope as well as how the Earth itself moved, the signal looks almost exactly like what we'd expect from a continuous extraterrestrial signal. There's that reproducibility problem. Yemen, the discoverer of the signal himself, was pretty skeptical, saying, "We should have seen it again when we looked for it 50 times. Something suggests it was an Earth-sourced signal that simply got reflected off a piece of space debris." Problem is, subsequent research has shown that an Earth-originating signal is super unlikely. And, muddling matter further, the bandwidth of the signal was in a slice of protected spectrum which all radio operators are forbidden to transmit on. Many machines aren't even capable of producing the signal because that band is so important for astronomical research. Via New Patty, Pixabay, other possible contacts include FRBs or fast radio bursts. These are signals that could feasibly come from an extraterrestrial source, but are far more likely to be caused by a black hole or a neutron star. There's also a similarly structured signal in the direction of HD 164,595 that a few have suggested could be isotropic beacon, a potential transmission in all directions that would likely be sent by a civilization attempting to be found by other intelligent species. Further study, however, has concluded that it's likely of Earth origin, given that it was detected on military frequencies. Such a signal would also require tremendous amounts of power and be far, far beyond the capability of our own civilization. But that's not to say we haven't tried some communications of our own. While we've been blasting radio signals into space for decades, one signal stands above them all: the Arecibo message. Arecibo is one of the largest and most powerful radio telescopes we have, and thanks to the way radio telescopes work, they can often be configured to send as well as receive signals. The message carried some basic information about Earth and human beings, containing approximately 210 bytes shot in the direction of M13, a globular cluster that contains mini-stars packed very tightly, maximizing the odds that a single transmission would be detected. That said, the target was over 25,000 light-years away, meaning that it'd be at least 50,000 years before we hear back from our maybe friends. As such, it's not considered a real attempt to communicate, but a show of what cool humans can do when we do cool human stuff. Of these, only the WOW signal could, realistically, be considered of note. But, until it's detected again, we have no way of knowing how it was formed or why. Let us know what you like about Geek by taking our survey.